What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my personal finance channel. My name is Kyle and I enjoy making videos about really anything financially related. So if you want to see a video that I haven't put out yet, or you want me to dive deeper into a video, definitely leave a comment down below. Also, if you're enjoying these videos, please give them a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. And it's better than paying that, 1, 2, 3% wealth manager fee for some advice. So anyways, let's get into the topic. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin miners. That's right. We're going to be talking about RIOT, Marathon Patent Group, BTBT, which I think is like Bit Digital or something, and HVBTF, Hive blockchain. I'm just going to talk about those four. I'm semi-familiar with them. I personally, full disclosure, do have a position in RIOT. I don't own the stock, but I actually own deep in the money call options. I'm not going to get into it, but it's basically the same as owning the stock, same difference. But I do have a small position there in my Roth IRA account. So full disclosure there. Now, take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. Obviously, do your own research, look into these companies on your own. But I'm just going to give you a very simple overview on how I'm looking at these companies, how I approach them, why I decided to invest in RIOT, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so these companies basically buy Bitcoin mining hardware, meaning like they're buying these ASICs. ASIC is ASIC. It's basically an acronym for application-specific integrated computer, something like that. It's basically a computer that is purpose-built just to mine Bitcoin. That's really as simple as it is, right? Like you buy this machine, you plug it in, it mines Bitcoin. That's really all it is. So some of these companies actually pivoted into this. So my understanding is Bit Digital, as of like a year ago, they did like peer-to-peer lending and rented out cars or something like that. I don't really know. I'm not going to get into that. But the point is just like be careful, right? Like some of these companies could just like drop everything and pivot one day, and they're not going to be doing this anymore. So if you're buying one of these companies on this kind of speculation, obviously if Bitcoin does well, these companies could do very well, potentially. But do your own research, understand what you're getting into again. Because a lot of times you'll see these types of companies jump on the hype train, right? Small cap companies. And when I say small cap, I mean if you go to like Yahoo Finance, you can look at the market cap. A lot of these companies were sub 100 million, and then they just like blew up over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. At the end of the year, you can see the share price just skyrocketed. So if you want to buy them now, obviously, this is what I would say. I've put together a small spreadsheet, so I'm going to go over some numbers with you. I'm going to really dumb this down and sort of strip away a lot of the weeds and look at the very simplistic nature of the business. They're mining Bitcoin, right? So if that's all they're doing, mining Bitcoin, the idea is they have these machines, they acquire Bitcoin. Bitcoin is worth X amount in the market. By looking at the total number of Bitcoin that they hold, multiply that by the price of Bitcoin, you, I guess, get an idea of what their market cap is, right? So it'd be like if I was a company and I held 1 Bitcoin, then in theory, my market cap is the equivalent of what that 1 Bitcoin is. That's sort of how I'm approaching this. So this spreadsheet, I guess I'll take a screenshot. It's not very fancy, but I'll throw it up on the screen nonetheless, just down at the bottom right now if you want to look at it, take a screenshot, whatever. So this is as of right now, right this second. Sorry, let me rephrase that. This is as of January 4th at 7:11 p.m. So obviously the market's closed. I went on to Yahoo Finance. That's where I got the current market caps from. The price of Bitcoin can obviously change, but I just did a simple round number of 30,000. I think it's trading just over it as of the time that I'm filming this. But as you can see in the spreadsheet, I have the ticker symbol in the first column. I have the, I guess, current or expected total hash rate for these Bitcoin miners. So the hash rate is how quickly it's sort of running through the algorithm to mine the next block of Bitcoin. Not going to get into the details of that. The next column is whether it's deployed. So basically that just means, are they actually mining at that current hash rate or not? So the only company, my understanding, is BTBT is actually, has the miners deployed and is currently mining at the 2.2535 exahashes. The other ones, they're going to slowly roll out. So they are mining at a rate less than what's on there. But by October 2021, RIOT will be mining at 3.8 exahashes. MARA, Marathon Patent Group, by December 2021, they will be mining at 10 exahashes. And HVBTF, Hive Blockchain Technologies, by December 2020, will be mining at 1 exahash of, I guess, hash rate. So then the next column, BTC mined per year. This is obviously Bitcoin mined per year. So that means if they were mining at that current hash rate, full production, that's how many Bitcoin would be mined in a year. So obviously all the three besides BTBT will not be mining at that much Bitcoin per year until I guess calendar year 2022. Over that year, they would mine that total amount that's in this column. But again, I'm going on a very simple assumption of, let's just say they're all on the same page, they're all fully deployed, which they're not. So remember that when you're investing. And then Bitcoin price, I'm just assuming 30,000 because, well, why not? Then the next one is BTC value per year. So what this is doing is it's multiplying the price of Bitcoin times the amount mined per year. And that's how much revenue, I guess, the company is earning. So in this case, $30,000 per Bitcoin. If they mined 4,028 Bitcoin, they would be mining roughly $120 million, right? So that's what this column is. And then current market cap, this is the current market cap of the company. So that's if you go to Yahoo Finance, you look at where the stock is trading and you multiply that by the number of shares, that's the current market cap. So in this case, 1.2 billion, 1.1 billion, 700 million, and 668 million. This last column is what's, I guess, sort of important, and when you dumb it all down, this is kind of the gist that I'm getting at. So this is the years it would take to hit the current market cap based on if Bitcoin stayed at 30,000 and they were mining starting today going forward, the total amount of Bitcoin mined per year in that column, right? So for example, if you look at the chart again, if BTBT was able to mine at a 2.22535 exahash rate for a full year, they would mine 4,000 Bitcoin. If Bitcoin stayed at exactly $30,000, then in 9.93 years, so almost 10 years, they would have enough Bitcoin, if it was trading at $30 still, to hit their current market cap. So that's basically saying that they're trading at a huge premium. Now, this is also not taking into consideration prices for electricity, which is huge for Bitcoin mining. It's a very electricity intensive thing. So the best thing would be to plug some of these numbers into a mining calculator. That's how I ended up with the Bitcoin mine per year column. But you have to know the power. That way you actually know the profit margin, because the idea is they're gonna have to sell some of the Bitcoin to fund their operations, right? For operating expenses, for all the electricity they're gonna be using. So this isn't really all things equal, but this is a super like dumbed down way to think about it in terms of assuming all things equal, right? Like let's just assume that all of them have the same cost for electricity. Then you could say that, you know, in roughly 9.93 years, probably more than that, but 9.93 years, that's how long it would take BTBT to mine enough Bitcoin if it was trading at $30,000 to hit their current market cap. Now this is keeping a lot of things constant, meaning the price of Bitcoin constant. If you think the price of Bitcoin is going to double, then that means they could still be mining 4,000 Bitcoin per year, but let's say Bitcoin's now trading at $60,000. If I change this to $60,000, we can see that in this last column, years to hit market cap goes down to 4.97, right? If Bitcoin's trading at twice the price, then it takes half the number of years, assuming all other things are constant, aka they're still mining 4,000 Bitcoin per year at a hash rate of 2.2 exahashes. So this is sort of a simple way to think about these I guess, Bitcoin mining companies. Now, the other thing to think about, some of these companies may already have a Bitcoin or Ethereum balance. So if they already have that, you can add that. However, I think BTBT, they might have mined like 800 Bitcoin this year. It's significant, but in the scheme of things, all things equal, sort of insignificant. Now, something else to obviously consider is the fact that besides BTBT, these three others, like I mentioned, will not hit full mining hash rate until 2021. So this means that you really can't start thinking that they're going to be mining the amount of Bitcoin mined per year in that column until 2022. And so that means you basically have to add another year to hit that market cap. Now, obviously, they will have some mining hash rate, so you could cut this number by 50% or 75% and assume they're mining at that capacity for the year. But this is sort of simple back of the napkin math to look at some of these Bitcoin miners. So now the next question, would I invest in any of them? Well, maybe. You see, a huge factor here obviously is to think about the price of Bitcoin. So one thing to really consider when you're looking at these miners is that you're not only getting exposure to the upward price of Bitcoin, but you're getting exposure to the fact that these companies are accumulating more and more Bitcoin over time, right? So let's put it this way. If I bought 1 Bitcoin right now, I would only have exposure to the price increase of Bitcoin. Whereas if I bought a Bitcoin mining machine, I could have exposure to all the Bitcoin I mine over time. So not only does that price appreciate, but I slowly accumulate more and more Bitcoin. So it's sort of like a compounding interest if you want to look at it that way. So let's say all things constant. Let's say these companies, right? Let's say they mine at full hash rate capacity for 1 year and then their warehouse goes down, right? Now, the other thing you can think about is what is the price of Bitcoin? What's your target on Bitcoin? Where do you think Bitcoin will be trading in a year? So if we change this Bitcoin price column, I'm going to change it so that it has a price of $100,000 in every column. And if I show you this right now, that means if Mara, M-A-R-A, Marathon Patent Group, can mine at a rate of 10 exahashes for 1 full year and acquire 17,000 Bitcoins, and Bitcoin goes to a price of $100,000, they will be trading over their current market cap, right? So if Mara can truly get to that high of a hash rate, they will quickly surpass the other companies. Whereas BTBT currently is mining at a hash rate, at least my understanding, I could be wrong, so definitely do your own research. They're currently mining at 2.25. So there's a lot of moving parts here, and so there's a lot of things to consider. So I would definitely say do your own math, do your own calculations, figure out what their expenses are going to be for electricity. But you have to consider all these things. So if you think about some of these companies and you say, well, maybe they only mine for half a year or 1 year, and what if there's a flood at their mining facility? Well, Bitcoin price could still appreciate. So if Mara was able to mine at 5 times, 2 times, 3 times, 10 times the rate of some of these other competitors, and then say they got wiped out because a freak accident happened where their mining rigs were, you would just look at the price of Bitcoin basically. So in this instant, if Bitcoin went to 100,000 per token or per Bitcoin, you can see that the BTC value per year is 400 million, which means that you're trading well under the market cap of BTBT. RIOT would have $600 million in value of BTC, which is just over half their current market cap. But Mara would actually have more than double their current market cap based on if they were able to mine 17,000. So Mara, based on their higher hash rate and lower market cap compared to the other ones, could potentially be a better investment. Again, do your own homework, see when the delivery schedules are of these things. Now, RIOT, BTBT, and Hive blockchain could go out tomorrow and buy just as many Bitcoin miners as Mara has bought. So like, all of these factors can change day to day. We've seen that on some of these press releases. Companies like RIOT and Mara have jumped 20-30% on announcing that they're buying 30,000 new Bitcoin miners and their hash rate is expected to be 10 exahashes, 100 exahashes, whatever they throw out there, right? So a lot of it is speculation. A lot of it is hype and jumping on the bandwagon. If Bitcoin crashes tomorrow, you can probably expect a lot of these companies to just pivot and say, oh, we're selling all of our Bitcoin miners, we're selling all of our Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. So you never know. So again, do your own homework, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it, how I'm thinking about it. The way I've also played it is you can do call options. If you haven't seen that, you can check out my video on call options. I have one if you're interested. However, it's potentially more risky. It's more risky and it's less risky. I'm not going to get into it in this video. Definitely go check out that video if you're interested in hearing about call options. But these are different ways to play Bitcoin rather than just buying Bitcoin itself. You can buy something like a Bitcoin miner where not only do you get exposure to price appreciation, but they're mining and accumulating more and more Bitcoin. So it's sort of a double-edged sword there, which can be good, could also be bad because they're sinking their money into these ASICs, which if something goes wrong with the ASICs, or there's, they get hit by lightning, or there's a flood, whatever it is, it could kill all of their machines. Granted, they would still have the Bitcoin that they hold, but they might lose all of their miners. If they owe money on those miners, they're gonna have to pay off that debt. There's just so many moving parts here to get into. It's tough. They've been high flyers. They've been moving crazy the last couple months. So I would just say, again, speculative. Could have great price up movement from here. But again, be careful and just know what you're getting into. Do your homework and see what makes the most sense for you. Again, I have some RIOT deep in the money call options. However, I bought these call options when the stock was trading at around $8 a share. So I'm well into the money right now. I'm profitable on these call options, but I haven't bought any more right now. I have bought more GBTC in my Roth IRA. It's just direct exposure to Bitcoin. And part of that is because I wanted to spend more time and more due diligence looking into some of these companies and just making sure, like, hey, how do they do after the first quarter? Maybe they go through the roof and they trade at a crazy premium, and I just will never touch them. But either way, do your homework. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a very dumbed down way to think about this. Remember that. They obviously have electricity expenses, which can play a huge factor into how profitable they are. Also, the delivery schedule of when some of these companies are actually going to get the Bitcoin mining machines that they've ordered. So keep all this in mind when you're looking at some of these companies and how you want to value them, how much they're going to be mining next year, the year after that, the year after that, and what is your price target on Bitcoin? Where do you think Bitcoin could realistically be trading? And then, again, keep in mind their current market cap. Similar to looking at some of these funds where they have a NAV and a market price, you want to look at the current market price. How much Bitcoin are they holding? What is the total value of all of that Bitcoin? And then where do you think Bitcoin price could go? How much more Bitcoin are they going to mine? And how close is that to their current market cap? Or is it potentially above their current market cap, and should you invest? So based on all these factors, there's a lot going on, a lot to look at, and a lot to consider. I hope this was somewhat helpful. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel would really help me. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, let me know. If you want to see something different, or maybe touch on more of something that I mentioned in this video, again, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that's going to be it. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.